Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I feel compelled to talk about the topic that's, heavily debated again here in the guitar community, the internet guitar community, and anywhere in between, and that is the whole idea of fake guitar playing. It's back. It was really a big thing around 2020, and now here we are half a decade later, and we're talking about it again, and there's a lot of videos coming out about it, and I feel compelled to make a video about it, and I want to say something that I don't really think many people are actually saying about all this. So like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below on this topic, and with that being said, I'm going to give you guys my opinions on how I feel about this whole situation. So cutting right to the chase, obviously, portraying something that you can't actually replicate online is wrong. That's immoral, that's like lying, essentially, right? I'm not denying that. But the devil's advocate to the whole miming along to videos thing is it's promoting the song or the piece of music that you make. And I am not against that. But I think the whole crux of the argument is if you're miming or pre-recording and or promoting a song, sure, that's okay. It's just you better be able to back up your presumed skills by actually playing it live or being able to play it not edited, not in a studio, not playing along to the original track. That's where I think the whole argument is. Now, myself, sure, have I done music videos and promoted my songs that were pre-recorded? Sure, like when me and Jenna filmed Like Frostbite. I'm outside on Christmas Eve in the snow. Obviously, I'm not playing along, or, what you're watching is not what you're hearing. I think we know that, right? But I then thereafter, about 2 weeks later, put out a live one-shot take of me playing Like Frostbite, and you can hear the imperfections and the quirks and the natural nuances and residual noise from the guitar. But again, you better be able to play and replicate what you're claiming you can play and what you're showing us. You better be able to do that in a one take and a live take and have it be somewhat similar, if not very similar, to the actual recording. One piece of content that came out for Van Halen fans, myself included, this past week is there's a whole bunch of B-roll from like the 1984 era, and you can listen to a soundboard version of Panama from the 1984 tour, and it's actually from the performance of the Panama music video. Very, very cool stuff for Van Halen fans, right? Well, if you listen to that, it's out of tune, it's off time, there's a lot of noise and a lot of out of key singing, and there's a lot of imperfections, but that's the charm and that's the joy of live music, right? You can tell that that is not a pre-recorded thing. And I only bring that up to say that, like, Eddie Van Halen, in my opinion, is the best guitar player of all time and certainly my favorite guitar player of all time. But even somebody like that who was a master of the craft still had imperfections in his playing, and that is a joy to see and a joy to hear. So to wrap up my first point of this video, I'm just saying you better be able to play what you're claiming that you can play, right? And one final example, I put out Follow Demeanor, the one live take playthrough, but here's a screenshot of my SD card. When I was filming that video that day, that was like take, 12 or something like that, because I kept making mistakes, and I still to this day get camera shy, and I wanted to put out the best take from the entire session of me playing and recording myself. So I'm not portraying that like, I got out of bed and just began to play it the first time. The first time was the best take, right? So all that to say, you just better be able to back up what you're claiming you can do and what you're claiming you wrote, right? But this is one thing I don't think anybody's saying, and I want to say right here, I haven't heard anybody say this. If you see like a really fast, super shreddy, quirky, crazy, intricate piece on Instagram or a YouTube short or something like that, and it's really fast and really impressive, but in my opinion, I don't think that style of music's that good. And that is a completely subjective opinion, but just because it's fast and impressive doesn't mean it's a good piece of music, in my opinion. And I've said this analogy on this channel several times, but I'll say here again. Take an auctioneer, somebody that goes 100, can I get 200, 200, sold to the gentleman in the back, $250. That person that talks really, really fast at an auction, take that individual versus somebody like Dr. Martin Luther King, and take the I Have a Dream speech that has peaks and valleys, it has fast parts and slow parts, and a crescendo and dynamics, and it's really impactful and powerful and moving. He's not talking fast and going a million miles an hour, but he's using his words and his message purposefully to move the audience. You can take that same analogy and implement it into guitar playing. Just because you're playing fast, in my opinion, that doesn't mean it's good. It's impressive, sure, but it's not, in my opinion, enjoyable. And, you know, I don't think anybody else is really making that argument. So maybe I'm way off and that's a hot take. Maybe people do find that style of music enjoyable to listen to. But I will take Comfortably Numb any day of the week, that outro solo, versus somebody shredding super fast on Instagram. So that is just something, I haven't really seen anybody make that argument or make that claim. Just because it's fast doesn't mean it's good, right? And I want to give a message to all guitar players, we'll say, whether it's day one you're playing today or you've been playing for 40, 50 years or anywhere in between. Just stick to your own path. Make sure you can replicate what you're doing, and don't be so influenced by people on the internet playing fast or playing super clean. Use your head, use your best judgment. If it sounds fake, it probably is fake. All these players that you see on Instagram going a million miles an hour, it's always conveniently at their house. It's never at like a local, you know, open mic night or a world tour or anywhere in between. There's never any sort of live one take playthrough with mistakes and off timing and out of tune. It's always just conveniently perfectly synced up in time and in tune, and not a single mistake, right? No guitar player on the planet plays like that. So just use your best judgment. And last thing I'll say about this whole topic is this seems to be a reoccurring thing every 5 years, give or take. So like when a new generation comes and, you know, tries to fake it on the internet, I think it's cool in the sense that like people call them out, and it kind of lets everybody keep an eye out for that stuff and be mindful of that stuff. And I think it keeps everybody in check. And in my opinion, I think it helps everybody because it lets everybody know that like the imperfections and the mistakes and like the quirks of the guitar are all a part of it, and that's the charm of the music in of itself, and don't lose sight of that, okay? So everybody, that's more or less my views and my opinions on this. The main thing I'm saying here is like, if you're claiming you wrote something and you played it, just please make sure you can actually replicate that live, okay? So with that being said, everybody, I'm out of here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys so much, and with that being said, I'll see you guys in a video very, very soon. Later.